Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. We have Henry here with us today instead of Jerry, so we're back to our usual program. But today, yes, sorry to disappoint everyone. But today we're gonna talk about winning at MFA again. I know that we talked about this like last month, I believe, but today we're actually going to show you how to use MFA, how to install it, and a few other things with MFA in regards to Microsoft Authenticator specifically. So Henry's going to go ahead and walk you through that, and I'll pass it over to him.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you all for joining us. We're going to fly through this. It's going to be pretty quick and painless, and hopefully you'll learn something in the process. Before we get too far down into this, I did want to highlight that we are putting out a ton of things like this and other educational resources available for you at our website, turnkeysol.com/resources. Things like white papers on all sorts of subjects, webinars, all the recorded tech talks like this, and longer webinars about other things, infographics that you can share with your team to educate them and kind of catch them up on a few things here and there. So please be sure to check out turnkeysol.com/resources. And also, if you haven't gotten a hold of it, we have been publishing a really great newsletter that is not tech geek speak. It is for technology users, which at this point is everybody over the age of like 3 days. I think you'll find it really beneficial. It's archived at turnkeysol.com/TCAS-newsletter. And you can always ask us, email us at ask@turnkeysol.com for a subscription or a back issue or whatever. But there's some really good stuff in there about just educational things, business stuff, technology tips and tricks, and other things. And we do highlight a few of our more well-attended webinars or some of our more popular blog articles in there from time to time too. So that said, why do we want to use MFA and why are we here? Why are we talking about it? We highlighted this in previous conversations, and I've brought this report to as many people as I can. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's Internet Crimes Complaint Center, their IC3, said for 2022, business email compromise was the single largest threat, attack, and complaint that they received. It was the #1 thing that they got calls about. And they emphasized the importance of leveraging two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication as a layer of additional security. So the FBI, who doesn't generally play too much, said this is the #1 issue, and their #1 recommendation is turn on MFA. So one, I think that's important to note. Two is that it is incredibly depressing how fast artificial intelligence is able to crack passwords. Not only were we able to use pretty decent algorithms and big libraries of passwords in the past and some basic tricks to try to replace all the E's with 3's or the 3's with E's and all that kind of stuff that you use to make great passwords, right? But we've learned that AI is getting faster by the minute. And a study from earlier this year, which I'm sure is completely irrelevant by now, showed that like 51% of common passwords can be breached in under a minute. Okay, so and if you have a really good password, the AI at the state it was earlier this year, with some relatively open source artificial intelligence engines, was able to breach common really good passwords though in about a month. So if you have a phenomenal password, great, but it's just not going to be enough. So it's not really enough. So kind of high level, FBI says it's really important. Microsoft and everybody else is saying, please, please, please do this. It's because it's what works. The third thing to think through is that more than likely your cybersecurity insurance policy probably requires that you have this turned on for your company. So I'm going to show not only like the basic idea of why we like the Microsoft Authenticator and some of the things that we would caution you on using it, or some things that work really well. But we'll also dig into to how to set it up and a few of the little details. But before we go too far deep into it, just a quick reminder that I would caution everybody on is multi-factor authentication as a general technology. Where Turnkey Solutions is recommending that you turn it on some way or another, whether you use the Microsoft Authenticator app, or if you use any number of other things. Like we recommend the WatchGuard Authenticator product. It's very good for a lot of other things, but whatever you're doing, please make sure that you are setting it up for your email accounts. However you have email and wherever, please turn it on in that environment. Next, any remote access thing. If you have go to my PC, Splashtop, a VPN, Citrix, Parallels, anything that allows you access to something else, somewhere else, or allows other people to get to you, turn on multi-factor. Please, please, please. Cloud storage, Dropbox, ShareFile, Move It, OneDrive, which is part of Microsoft, any of the things that are technologies that allow you to store files in the cloud, please turn it on there. And cloud apps like banking, QuickBooks, Facebook, your domain registrar, any of those things that allow you to control data or access data or applications in the cloud, please turn on MFA there. And servers and desktops, that's kind of one of the final frontiers that we're really pushing for. Really, at this point, every company to have every desktop secured with MFA, because it really makes it hard for hackers to move around. That's an important thing. So why is Turnkey, or why are we kind of recommending specifically the use case of this one tool that we're here to talk about today, the Microsoft Authenticator product, is we love it for protecting all things Microsoft 365 or Office 365, whatever you want to call that environment. We really like it for that product and that platform securing it. It is required for global admins. They're forcing it. Microsoft is forcing it for all of those. If you have an account that is, or a username that's a what they call a global admin, basically an administrator on the Microsoft 365 platform, it's pretty much forced on. If you're a new company into the Microsoft ecosystem, more than likely it's forced for all of your accounts. So we're seeing Microsoft push it more and more. And again, kind of the reason for Authenticator is it just works natively with those, and it's really good for protecting the Microsoft environments. Now, a caveat and a quick note is it doesn't work for protecting everything. The Microsoft Authenticator is a really strong MFA tool, but it's not for example, securing your desktop login or your server login, or even your Facebook account right now. It may change one day, but it doesn't do those things today. So we do have use cases where somebody might use 2 different MFA apps, or even 3 in some environments. So now let's get into the details. Now it's important to note that there's a lot of ways, like any tool, that you can use this right and that you can use this wrong. And we're going to kind of walk through a couple tips and tricks on how to use this really, really well. One we would start with, and candidly, I spoke with my technicians and the team and said, okay, what would y'all recommend we tell customers? And this came from our team, is that we got to make sure that you're using the right app. Wrong and fake apps. There was actually an article in our newsletter from last month about this, that there's a lot of apps out there that come with viruses, or come with backdoors, or come with additional charges, or just aren't as good as the Authentic app. So we want to make sure and use the right Microsoft created and published and supported Authenticator app, because there's a lot of downsides for using the fake one or not the genuine one. One of which is most of the fake ones charge you. So the Microsoft one at this point is free. So when I looked in the Google Play App Store, you can see there were a whole bunch. You just type in Authenticator. There's a whole bunch of fake ones there. If you look in the Mac store, there were a bunch of ones, and maybe they're not fake, but they're just different. If you look for the word Authenticator, or even if you look for Microsoft Authenticator at some of the stores, a bunch of stuff that isn't the right one pops up. And they're all cleverly, or a lot of them are cleverly using very similar looking icons or logos for their application. I looked on the Play Store on my my phone itself, and comes up with a bunch of them. Like the one that comes all the way to the top is not the right one if you look for Authenticator. So that was interesting to see that there's a whole lot of application developers out there. They're trying to get that market share, and you got to find the right app. So look for the one called Microsoft Authenticator. It's published by the Microsoft Corporation. All right. It's published by the Microsoft Corporation, and depending on what app store you're looking at, it has a lot of reviews. Okay. Of course, no app is going to get all 5-star reviews. But it's been out there for a while, so look for one that's got a ton of reviews. It's by the Microsoft Corporation. There's other ways to get it, by the way, from directly. It can the website, when we log into your Office 365 account, it can actually push it or send a text message or something with it. So we'll talk about that later. But if you're just going straight to the App Store on your device, look for the one called Microsoft Authenticator. All right, so step 2, setting up the application. It's pretty simple, and it's different for almost everybody. Like the app changes, the use case, what application you're setting it up to protect, can send you the link and do it differently. So setup path is different for many situations, like how you're going to get to it and why is different. But all paths require that you log into the Authenticator app. So once you get the app installed on your device, you're going to have to log in with your Office 365 or Microsoft 365 credentials. And if you're watching the recording, we're going to post a bunch of links to A, the right app, and B, some common paths and ways that we get in. We'll have some other resource links here. Next up is once you're logged into the app, we're going to stay in the little section called the Authenticator section. And I'm about to show a screenshot, and I'll share my screen here in just a second, and we'll kind of walk through how it works. It's pretty painless for how to get it up and running. So don't worry about that. So step 3 is when we're using the application, just fire it up if you want to look at it, but we're going to stay kind of in that Authenticator section. There's a bunch of other things that it can do, but we don't generally use those right now for most of our clients. So we're going to stay in the Authenticator section, but you don't really have to open the application up. You never really have to fire up the program if once you've got it set up and are running and have logged into it. Now, a couple caveats, 2 things, and I'll say this multiple times. Never authorize a multi-factor authentication request from any MFA tool or any text message or any email. Never authorize an MFA or give that code to anybody if you didn't initiate it. Like if I didn't fire off something in my banking application or an Office 365 or an email, if I didn't start the thing that should initiate my multi-factor authentication request, don't say yes. And it sounds simple, but it's important to kind of walk through that because people are falling for this quite a bit right now. Now the next thing is never give the key or the code or whatever the login is or the prompt or that a 2-digit or 6-digit code. Never give that to somebody on the phone. Microsoft will never call you for it. And if they do, they've breached every piece of paper they've ever sent out about the subject. So Microsoft's not going to call you for it. Best Buy isn't going to call you for it. Turnkey isn't going to call you for it. And if we do, then we may need to set up so that the email goes to you, or we'll have to change some things. But be very, very careful what you do when this application fires up and gives you a code. All right. So Using it, and again, I'm about to demo it out. Using it is really as easy as 1, 2, 3. You go to whatever program. Now you could be logging into your email, your SharePoint, your OneDrive, your Teams, any of those things. But you're going to log into the thing, and it's going to pop up and say something about, hey, I'm sending an approval request. All right. On your device, you're probably going to get a little pop-up that says, should I approve the sign in? It's going to look like this, and just kind of comes in right there, and you just touch that. And on your phone, again, this is a visual of your phone, you're going to type in that little code that pops up over here. Like in this instance, on the code on your desktop, it popped up and said, hey, your approval sign-in request, your code is 32. So over here on my cell phone, I would type in the 32 and type in yes. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to share my screen here. This is my cell phone. Stephanie, can you see my cell phone? It's like massively zoomed in.
Yes.
Right. All right. Okay. So over here is my cell phone, and over here, I'm going to fire up a. I'm going to put both of these on the same screen. I'm going to show a quick little login. I'm going to Outlook.office 360 Outlook.office.com, and we'll just go straight there. Oops, my cell phone timed out. I'll wake that back up. This is just as hard as it is. The hardest part is set up the environment for this. But okay, so I'm logging into a new device here. On the left-hand side, I'm logging into an in-private window, which means it doesn't have any authentication stored in it right now. So I'm going to type in my username and my work account, and we're going to type this in. It's not a perfect protection, but of note also, just a side tip, you should have your logo branded with your company logo. And if you're one of our customers, ask us to do that. We'll do it for you. But I'm going to put that in. I'm going to hit sign in, and it's going to pop up right there on my cell phone. So I'm going to click on my cell phone, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to type in that number that showed up right there. And I'm going to say yes. And it's going to let me in. That's as hard as it is. All right. It is not incredibly complicated to use this program. Once it's set up, setting it up is even pretty simple. So we'll walk through that in just a second if you really want to. Now, one other note is that if you have extended your Office 365 environment, you could be getting what's called additional context information on your little pop-up on your phone. We have it turned off this morning for just to make the demo go smoothly. But additional context can pop up and actually show you, here's the map location of where somebody's trying to log in. So they're constantly evolving the tool. They're constantly making it better. And it's really simple to use. That literally, it took us, 5-10 seconds to authenticate. Now, a couple notes that I'll throw out there is that you can set the timeout policies and how long it takes for it to reinitiate that up to your company. Okay, so you don't have to have it set to log in and prompt you for MFA every 4 seconds or every time you're checking an email. We get that question all the time. Does it have to pop up every day? No. What we have it set for at Turnkey is with new devices, yes, pop that up and ask. Or I think after 180 days, even old devices are going to pop up and ask one time, and then you're in. All right, so a couple last little times that I'll reiterate this is never authorize the prompt, never put in the code, never share the code if you weren't expecting it and if you're not in control of the whole situation. So we have to be really careful about this. What we're seeing is a growing trend of the hackers being aware that you have MFA in your environment, and they're trying to authenticate into your systems And if you get like a ton of requests for, hey, can I authenticate? Hey, can I log in? Hey, can I log in? Hey, can I log in? And it's not you doing it, or if you even get one, then that means somebody's probably got your password. They're trying to log in. That MFA is stopping them, and we don't want to say yes because then you just let them in. So, and we probably also need to go change your password, review some security logs. All right, so important step there. Now, I'll go backwards real quick and I'll fly through this because it's pretty simple. Setting it up and like configuring the application on your phone to work is kind of a coordinated effort with your account in the Microsoft 365 environment. If you don't want to watch this next step because you're not very technical or interested in it, or because we have done this part for you, or we're going to do this part for you, then don't watch it. It's okay. But if you're interested in how to set it up on your device and turn it on your account, let me walk through that. It's really simple. So first off is if you're doing this on your own and you don't have like somebody like us turning it on your company account and pushing it to you, then generally where most people do it individually right now, and it might change tomorrow, but where most people are doing it is at myaccount.microsoft.com. We'll share the link, but it's myaccount.microsoft.com. What that's going to look like is roughly like this when you get logged into it. And then you're going to look for this little thing that says security info. And I just checked, this is what the screen looks like today. And again, they may change it tomorrow, but you're going to look for that little section that's called security info. You're going to click on update info. And you're going to get a screen that has this little section. You're going to click add a method. Okay, you're going to click add a method. When you add a method, you're going to look for the little, it's going to drop down a box and say Authenticator app. That's and all these other things that you can do as secondary factors, multi-factors, but we're going to pick the Authenticator app. It is the best one that they have, the best trick that they have. It's going to pop up this little thing and say start by getting the app. You can click download now. It'll send you a link to it or an email, and it'll go straight to your phone if you have your phone set up with your email, and you can grab it using that link. That's if you haven't already gone and installed it yourself. But the next little thing is it's going to say set up your account. By this time, you have to have the app installed on your phone. And you're going to, when you click next, you will scan that QR code with the Microsoft Authenticator app. Okay, so you fire up the Authenticator app and you scan code. There's a little section on there for scanning your new code. And then it's going to pop up and say, hey, let's try it out. It's going to, you hit next, it will send a code to your phone and you answer the code and or give it the number back or whatever the method is that's set up for your platform. And you're done, and it's up and running. So it's not very hard, but a lot of y'all that are watching this, we've already done this for you, or we're going to do it for you, or there's policies pushed from the whole company platform where this is taken care of another way. So that's why I didn't want to belabor the point. So what to do next? If you have questions or you need help with this, if we're your IT company, then just call. We got this. We'll walk you right through it. We'll be more than glad to help. If you need help with us and we're not your IT company, then we'd love to be your IT company. So just give us a holler. We can help you out with that as well. But generally for the platform as a whole, if you don't have it turned on, then generally the administrator of the platform is going to need to turn it on. Ask for help and we'll be more than glad to. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask us. You can call us at 225-751-4444, email us at ask@tks.la, and make sure to grab our, get a copy of our Facebook, get a copy of our newsletter and subscribe to our Facebook. It would be hard to get a copy of our Facebook. But subscribe to our newsletter and we'll get you on there, and we look forward to being of service to you and helping you with any other questions. Hopefully this wasn't too fast or too slow, and hopefully it was helpful for you. And that's all we've got for today. So questions, whatever it is that we do to be of service, please reach out. I can't wait to help you out. Have a great day.